Good evening and welcome to Congresswoman Alma Adams' virtual community swearing-in ceremony and address for the 117th Congress of the United States of America. There will be an opportunity for questions and answers at the end of our program. Please place your questions inside the chat feature of this Zoom meeting. Staff will be available to answer questions throughout the program. As we forge ahead to a new normal, let our hope for the future and our faith make us stronger together. Let us begin the evening with a moment of prayer, delivered by Reverend Clifford Matthews, Jr., Senior Pastor of St. Luke Missionary Baptist Church in Charlotte.
God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, we come before you this day, on this occasion, the installation of your servant for this 12th district to serve the people in the Congress of the United States of America. We lift her up to you, Alma Adams, and we ask your blessings upon her, her team, her staff, and all that they will do to better this country. We also pray a blessing upon this opening session, the opening days of the 117th Congress. Dear God, already we have seen far too much and are still trying to process what it all means. But dear God, in spite of it all, we come to say thank you that you have indeed brought us safe thus far as a people and as a country. And so we lift our voices now and we ask your blessing upon our president, President Biden. We ask your blessing upon our vice president, Vice President Harris. We ask your blessing upon all those who serve in positions of leadership in this country, without regard to party affiliation or color of skin. We pray for them all, that what is said and what is done will help all of God's children live a better life. We lift our voices and pray for unity in this country, that we might be the beacon of hope that we are to be for this world. We ask this prayer in your great name. Amen.
Join us now for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by the Congresswoman's grandchildren, Aaron and Jocelyn Lindsay, joined by congressional interns and students from the 12th Congressional District, followed by our national anthem.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Through the perilous fight, for the
As we forge ahead to a new normal, rest assured that our elected officials are communicating, cooperating, and collaborating in order to enhance the lives of the citizens of the 12th Congressional District.
Hello, my name is George Dunlap, and I'm the chairman of the Board of County Commissioners in Mecklenburg County. Our county is fortunate to have such an effective representative in Washington, D.C. The Congresswoman takes care of our most vulnerable residents while at the same time making sure that we have a strong local economy that's accountable. This has been a challenging year for everyone, and we have adapted to new ways of interacting in our community. We are grateful for Congresswoman Adams and her staff, who prioritize federal resources, which include support for Black maternal health, affordable housing, food security, and historically Black colleges and universities. Their efforts have made a real impact on our community, and even though we could not make it to Washington, D.C. this year, she has made sure that we are accessible to the county, elected officials, and staff. As a strong voice in the House majority, Congresswoman Adams also worked with House leadership to ensure federal pandemic relief funding was allocated to the county and city levels of government. Mecklenburg County utilized COVID relief funds to steady our community and address needs such as mortgage, rental, and utility relief, services for our seniors, PPE distribution, and small business viability. Congratulations on another term, Congresswoman. We know that there is more work to be done, and we will do it together. Thank you.
Hello from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm Mayor Vi Lyles. For many of us, this past year has been difficult, and we now know that the threat of this global pandemic is not letting up anytime soon. During these challenging times, it is essential to have a trustworthy advocate like Congresswoman Alma Adams. Her leadership has been so important in keeping us updated on the COVID-19 federal response and the rollout of the vaccine. I look forward to continuing our work together to forge ahead to a new normal for everyone in Charlotte and the 12th Congressional District.
Hi everyone in the 12th District, from Mayor John Aneralla of Huntersville. I want to wish everybody a healthy and happy new year. We certainly could use it. A lot of good things happening in Huntersville, a lot of interest in single-family homes and businesses. We do have our issues like everywhere else. We could always use some more money for road improvements and greenways and sidewalks, but we're working on all those things. But looking forward to a great 2021 and wishing everyone all the health and the best in the coming year.
Hello, I'm Mayor Woody Washam of Cornelius. To the residents of North Carolina's 12th Congressional District, I know that times have been hard in many ways. We've all been tested by the challenges presented in the wake of COVID-19 and the events of violence and disruption here in our nation. Know that the town of Cornelius stands with you. We are working diligently with other officials to align our communications efforts and to maintain a united force as we move forward. We continue to do our part in slowing the spread of the virus, and we thank you for doing yours. As we forge ahead, we must continue to act not for ourselves, but for our community as a whole. Brighter days are truly ahead, my friends. Our nation needs our prayers right now for unity, and please join me in helping be a part of the solution, and don't be a part of the problem right now. Until then, remember, we're all in this together.
Congresswoman Alma Adams was first elected to Congress in 2014 and is serving her fourth term in the House of Representatives. Representative Adams serves on the Committee on Financial Services, Committee on Education and Labor, and the Committee on Agriculture. She is chairwoman of the Committee on Education and Labor's Subcommittee on Workforce Protections and vice chairwoman to the Committee on Agriculture. The Congresswoman is a co-founder of the Black Maternal Health Caucus and the founder and co-chair of the bipartisan Historically Black Colleges and Universities Caucus. Throughout her career, Representative Adams has promoted quality education for all students, spearheading numerous pieces of legislation to boost funds for historically black colleges and universities. Her signature legislation accomplished in the 116th Congress is H.R. 5363, the Fostering Undergraduate Talent by Unlocking Resources for Education Act, also called the Future Act. This legislation permanently provides funding totaling $255 million a year for all minority-serving institutions, including $85 million for HBCUs. For 40 years, Representative Adams taught art at Bennett College. Throughout her career at Bennett College, she led the effort to increase student civic participation, coining the phrase, "Bennett bells are voting bells." Now, as a former educator, Congresswoman Adams has dedicated her career to improving the lives of young people and her community through her legislative efforts. And now, welcome Congresswoman Alma S. Adams, Ph.D., as she takes the ceremonial oath of office administered by District Court Judge Kimberly Best.
The swearing-in of congressional members is a long-standing tradition that celebrates and signifies the start of a new Congress. We look forward to your continued leadership and unwavering commitment to the citizens of the 12th Congressional District of North Carolina. Now let us begin our ceremony. Please raise your right hand and place your left hand on the Bible. Do you solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that you take this obligation freely and without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you are about to enter?
I do.
By the powers vested in me, you have been duly sworn in to the 117th Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Congresswoman Alma S. Adams, Ph.D. Congratulations.
Good evening. Thank you, Judge Best, for conducting my ceremonial swearing in here in the 12th Congressional District. I was officially sworn in on January 3rd in Washington, D.C., as mandated by the Constitution. However, it's not official for me until I'm sworn in here at home with my family, friends, and the more than 830,000 citizens of the 12th Congressional District. And on that note, Judge Best, I'd like to welcome you as a resident of Mint Hill and all of the good folks of Mint Hill to the 12th District. I'm proud to represent Davidson, Cornelius, Huntersville, Pineville, Matthews, Mint Hill, and Charlotte in the U.S. Congress. To my esteemed colleagues, our many county, town, and city officials who continue to work diligently on behalf of our communities, I say thank you. And before I go too far, I'd like to thank my congressional staff for their hard work on behalf of the 12th District. And thank you to all of the people who participated in this evening's program, including my 4 grandchildren, Aaron, Jocelyn, Miracle, and Billy III, who joined in leading the Pledge of Allegiance. I bring you greetings tonight on behalf of Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, Majority Whip James Clyburn, and Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, Chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, and 59 members known as the conscience of the Congress. All of us know that our top priority has to be this year addressing this pandemic. Whether you're in Congress or on City Council or working on the ground to address the issues our community faces, our shared commitment to communication, collaboration, and cooperation will allow us to tackle COVID-19 once and for all and ensure that help is provided to everyone who is struggling because of this pandemic. Mecklenburg County tonight marks a continuation of my service to the people of this magnificent county and my 4th term representing you in the House of Representatives of the Congress of the United States of America. I do not take my charge or the trust that you have placed in me lightly. My charge and your trust are what drives me each and every day. Despite troubling times, like the tragic events of January 6th at the U.S. Capitol, I still remain encouraged, because in the following days, we also witnessed the best in many of us. And in the words of Amanda Gorman, National Youth Poet Laureate, spoken during the historic inauguration of President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, she said, "We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it." But she also pointed out that we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And I would add, and woman. And this, in his inaugural speech in 2013, President Barack Obama said these words: "Each time we gather to inaugurate a president, we bear witness to the enduring strength of our Constitution. We affirm the promise of our democracy. We recall that what binds this nation together is not the colors of our skin or the tenets of our faith or the origins of our names. What makes us exceptional, what makes us American, is our allegiance articulated in a declaration made more than 200 centuries ago, which says we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." Recently, our nation bore witness to the strength of our democratic system and our powerful commitment to the Constitution of these United States of America. United. My friends, we are indeed more united than we know, because as diverse as we are as a community, we are more alike than we are different. We all want to live in safe communities where peace and justice live in harmony. We all want a job that pays a livable wage. We all want food for our families. We all want to see a doctor when we're sick and know that we're being treated fairly and without bias. We all want a chance to learn and succeed in life, not just for ourselves, but for our children. We all want access to opportunities that make our lives better. And we all want a safe place to call home, a place that is affordable and that doesn't cost half of our paycheck. And not only do we want these things, these are all things that I believe should be constitutionally mandated as inalienable rights. And none of them should depend on the color of your skin or the zip code that you live in. And yet so many of these rights are dictated by exactly that, the color of your skin and the zip code where you live. The Constitution guarantees equal protection under the law, but that hasn't always been the case. It guarantees freedom from slavery, but that hasn't been the case. It guarantees the right of women to vote and serve as vice president, but that's only been the case for a century. The words of the Constitution are written on paper, and I have sworn a solemn oath to uphold it. But it is a living document, and it is up to new generations to continue to breathe life into the words and promises of our founders. Every American should have the basic necessities needed to have a decent life, no matter the color of their skin, their physical ability, their income level, or their zip code. And that's why I fight each day in Congress for those whose strength has been diminished by the effects of COVID-19, those who are struggling to pay rent, medical bills, or student loans, those who need a little help putting food on their table. Even before COVID-19 touched our shores, I introduced legislation, a constitutional amendment, that would codify a right to shelter, health care, food security, and education. And I introduced that legislation again last week. Our Vice President Kamala Harris said that America is a nation of opportunity. And so if we're going to fulfill our nation's promise of equal opportunity for all, we must ensure every American has access to the basic tools needed to make opportunity possible. And with all that our country continues to deal with, racial division, racial injustice, a distressed economy, we must also fight through COVID-19. Unfortunately, much of what we're seeing with COVID-19 in terms of inequities of health care, food insecurity, educational opportunity, transportation and housing insecurity already existed before the global pandemic. The coronavirus just exacerbated disparities that already existed. Although Charlotte Mecklenburg leads in a lot of areas and is known as one of the fastest growing cities in the country, right now we're leading our state in an area that no one wants to claim, and that is in confirmed cases of COVID-19. At nearly 80,000 people with confirmed cases and heartbreakingly over 700 deaths due to coronavirus, we are leading all 100 counties in our state. But we can beat this thing by wearing our masks, washing our hands, practicing social distancing, and getting vaccinated when it's our turn. I've already had my 2 doses of the vaccine, and I feel great. So remember, when it's your time to be vaccinated, you have a spot. So take your shot. Friends, let me assure you that this is especially for all of the young people that may be listening to this program tonight. Our nation is strong, and we are now in good hands. We were assured that help was on the way, and indeed it has arrived. Wise, skilled, and experienced people are at the helm of our great nation, and we're rising to greet a wonderful new day, free of COVID-19. This pandemic has changed each of us. It has challenged our systems and our economy. We have weathered tremendous loss of loved ones, of grandparents, of parents, children, friends, and neighbors, loss of joyous plans and time together, loss of income, stability, and health. But we have not lost our faith. My religious teachings remind me that faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen. We believe and we have hope built on science, that we will emerge from this devastation even stronger than before. And though we found ourselves in the heat of the blacksmith's forge, we have been molded by fire and heat into an unstoppable force. So we will forge ahead, progressing steadily until our efforts to eradicate COVID-19 have succeeded, and as the elders say, we will live to tell the story of just how we got over. And we will carry with us, in loving memory, each person we lost to this terrible virus. In Congress, COVID-19 may have thought that it stopped us in our tracks, but we found new ways to get the job done. I co-sponsored 406 pieces of legislation, submitted 742 funding requests, and brought over $500 million in federal funds to our district, including over $388 million in COVID-19 relief funding. Together, we passed more bills than any other member of Congress from North Carolina. And we did all of that by listening to each other, to each of you, by staying connected to local and state leaders, and by tenaciously fighting for resources that move our district forward. And I will continue to fight for the 12th district because we are in this together, and we will come out of this together. In the 117th Congress, I will be introducing legislation to make food benefits for SNAP more generous, to cover the true costs of food, and to better take into account the high cost of housing, utilities, medical bills in communities like ours, to strengthen and invest in the infrastructure on HBCU campuses like Johnson C. Smith, comprehensively address the Black maternal health crisis, which is only exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, diversify the K-12 teacher workforce to ensure that teachers better reflect their community, address police brutality, and ban the use of tear gas on protesters, provide at least $10,000 in student loan forgiveness, address equity in the access to and impact on our transportation system. And I will work alongside my colleagues in the House and Senate, with my former colleague, Vice President Kamala Harris, and with our new President, Joe Biden, to make sure that these bills and other key pieces of legislation are passed into law to undo and move past the harmful policies of the past 4 years to make this nation more equitable. Friends, there is still so much work to do, but together we can accomplish anything. And if enough of us come together, we can move all of us forward. In closing, in the words of our first National Youth Poet Laureate, Amanda Gorman, from her poem, The Hill We Climb, she says we're striving to forge our nation, our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gaze, not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.